Tweeting to God by Rev. Dr. Dominic Emmanuel. Introduction. More than 10 years ago, I received an email from the editor of the Asian Age where I used to contribute articles to its edit page. In those days, I also used to do the same for other leading newspapers on topics related to politics and Christian minority rights in English as well as in Hindi. The email this time was meant to inform me that the Asian Age and its sister publication from the south, the Deccan Chronicle, were then planning to start a new daily spiritual column and to request me if I would contribute to it. Being then the spokesperson of the Delhi Archdiocese and earlier of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, I used to be asked once in a while to write articles concerning Christian issues. This was the first request, however, to be a contributor to a regular column and a spiritual one at that. As a spokesperson, it was my policy never to say no to a request for a column or any TV and radio interview. I took this request not only as my job, but found in it a wonderful opportunity for evangelization. I remember one year I had as many as 7 different articles on Christmas Day in both Hindi and English newspapers. By the time I left the Communication Information Bureau of the Delhi Archdiocese in 2014, which I had set up in 1998, I had written more than 1,000 articles for various newspapers and magazines in Hindi and in English. Without blinking an eye, I said a firm yes to the editor's request for this spiritual column, little realizing that it would go on for so long. At the time of writing this introduction to the current book, I have completed a full decade of writing this column. I don't know how much longer it will continue, but I have no plan of quitting unless asked by the newspaper. The column is called Mystic Mantra. It appears from Monday to Friday and on special occasions also on Saturday in 2 widely circulated national newspapers, the Asian Age and the Deccan Chronicle. Authors of different religions too write for it. The column that I write appears once every 2 weeks. We are very fortunate that the alternate week is filled in by the well-known Father Dr. Francis Gonsalves S.J., currently Professor of Theology at Jnanadeepa Vidyapith, Pune. At the time of saying yes to the editor, I neither knew what exactly the contents or the topics of the articles would be, nor that they would last this long. Modesty aside, more than being just satisfied with it, I am even proud to have made this contribution as part of evangelization and or presenting Christian spirituality to a vast number of readers both in North India through the Asian Age and in South India through the Deccan Chronicle. Such writings sometimes have a ripple effect. I believe that it was after seeing this column in Deccan Chronicle that the editor of the Catholic Bi-Weekly, The New Leader, requested me to write sermons for Sundays and important feast days for the liturgical cycle years A, B, and C for his magazine. Those sermons are now being published also by St. Paul's publication in a separate volume. In 2015, after completing 5.5 years of writing the Mystic Mantra column and still in the midst of writing for the New Leader, I got a transfer to Austria. I arrived here in June 2015, and in July I had to join German language classes. It was a tough time, but I did not want to quit this unique opportunity and commitment to the mission of acquainting our Indian brothers and sisters about Christianity and its wonderful message of God's love and forgiveness. I am also happy to share with you that I have received many positive emails from readers, mostly from the South India. It was not always possible to respond to all of them, though I did respond to a few. There were also occasional negative letters, I suspect, from right-wing fundamentalists to influence the editor to stop this column. By the time this book goes into print, I will have completed more than 260 articles or more than 10 years of uninterrupted fortnightly writing for this column alone. It is certainly a milestone of sorts. In all these years, whether I had cataract operation or got stents in the heart, or wherever my travels took me, or even on transfer to another country, or spending some precious days with my sick mother before her passing, or whatever else I did, I have never missed a single column to this day. I must confess, though, that it was not always easy to find a subject for every succeeding column, as choosing a topic was left completely to me. Before settling down and getting a hang of what the editors wanted, it was a struggle to find the right mix. Right in the beginning, the columns used to be almost double their current size. Selecting only 75 of the 260 columns for this volume was again a real stressful task. I spent a lot of time selecting them, making changes several times. Though I am not fully satisfied with it, I had to put an end to it, and here they are for you to read. While reading through the book, one thing that has to be kept in mind is that these articles are written first of all for two widely circulated normal daily newspapers. These are not newspapers focusing on religious content, but ordinary newspapers with daily run-of-the-mill stuff. But India being a rather religious country, having given birth to various religions, the editors decided that a short column on religious topics concerning different religions would not only interest readers but also serve the need of a certain section of them. The fact that the column Mystic Mantra has already completed 10 years is evidence enough that the readers do find their hunger for spiritual content fulfilled through it. The other important thing to remember while reading the articles is that these articles, though on Christian themes, were not written for Christian readers but for the general public. In other words, they were written for ordinary newspaper readers belonging to various religions and for all sections of society. That is the reason why they have been written in simple language using commonplace examples with the message easily understandable to people who read newspapers that are never read as books to acquire deeper knowledge or as a matter of study, but with the intention of obtaining a cursory view. It is not to say that the contents do not contain reflections on Christian spirituality worthy of meditation. I would therefore request the readers, especially if they are acquainted with Christian themes, not to rush with the articles or skip certain parts presuming that they know what is coming, but to take time to read them reflectively. One never knows what or why or how some thought might just speak to you in your own special need or answer a question that you might be wrestling with. Personally, writing the columns has been a wonderful, nay, a spiritual experience for me. I must confess that as a result, I have myself grown spiritually over the years. The invitation to write the Sunday sermons for the new leader too came at an opportune time, not merely because they helped complementing one another, but because they have helped me a great deal personally to deepen my own spiritual life. How all this helped me in my spiritual journey to reach where I am today could possibly be, if God gives me a few more years to live, the topic of my next book. And if you do want to comment or add a reflection on what you have read, you are most welcome to drop in a line on my email, which is FRDOMINIC@gmail.com. Once again, FRDOMINIC@gmail.com. In the meantime, I do hope that you not only will enjoy reading the contents of Tweeting to God, but also draw some inspiration for your personal life. Thank you.